smoke is quieting down. Seems like we've got to a lot of the smoke. Dub, you got smoke?
Multinational corporation whose operations in over 60 countries covering nearly 200 markets immediately report up to me. That's in short, and pretty much he's saying no.
Yeah, no.
He said this is dumb.
Right. Yeah, it makes no fucking financial or sense, period.
You're reaching.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, I don't like the way you read, yo.
Damn.
Get your glasses, bro. I don't like that. I don't like the way you read. Don't read like that again.
And let me see if you do better.
Don't read like that again. What's the last line?
Now, is this an eye test or a reading test?
What's a reading? It's a reading at this point.
Which one? Which last line?
Read
his recorded catalog and the purchase of his music publishing rights?
Read the whole shit.
I'm not, nigga. You
sound like nigga. You Bigfoot from West Point.
You read it, man. Yeah, because you can't
That's
see.
very tiny.
Yeah, so
It's
get
very
the glasses,
tiny.
boy. Look, you got act your whole.
Wait, put on the Chloe's? What you want to do?
And you sat there right there. You sat right there and let my man do that, huh?
I didn't think you was going. I didn't think you was
Mr.
going to let that
Harvard?
happen. I thought you was going to let it happen. I didn't think you was going to let it happen.
Oh, wait, that sound crazy?
No,
No, you sounded
don't sound
fine.
crazy at all.
You did just what I expected.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Yo.
Emanny!
Stop playing, yo. I told y'all.
You can't do that,
Stop
nigga.
playing, yo.
Yo, Mama, you okay?
That's a charge.
Yo,
I'm suing.
that nigga, yo, you was watching Daredevil or something? Yo, you just had to get up with your first day jeans on.
She got to
had
tissue
to-
walk around.
Yo, you such a fucking.
That's why I didn't mean to do that.
I would beat the shit out of you.
I didn't mean to do that. Fuck that.
She would never get tissue for you, nigga.
Oh man.
She didn't even call you about the cat for that.
I was just about to go to Mark for his opinion on this whole thing, but my man is
Yo, I'm
You okay,
fucked up
Mark?
right now.
No, you good? Mark Green.
You 0 for 2 over
Yo.
there. You should have.
Yo,
Stop throwing it. Aggressive, yo.
So angry.
To go back to English.
Yeah, you gotta go to class.
Next time you read, you got like.
What's going on, y'all? We are back with the files. Now listen, Emanny violated Marc Lamont Hill in a way that I didn't see coming. It all started when Emanny was reading something off his phone to everybody on the pod. He began stumbling over his words, cracking up because he couldn't see the screen clearly. Right there in that moment, Queen's Flip jumped in loud, clowning him and saying he didn't like the way Emanny reads. Flip turned to Marc and said he allowed this to happen. All right? He let Emanny read instead of stepping up and taking control. Marc calmly reminded Flip that he was actually the A-Mike today on the pod and not him, okay? Since Joe Budden wasn't there, meaning Flip was supposed to handle that, all right? Now, as the jokes flew around, Emanny looked at Marc and asked directly, did I read well? And Marc didn't sugarcoat it. He hit him with the, no, you did how I thought you would, right? Now, that one line cut deeper than it looked. Emanny took it as a shot. His face shifted instantly, and before anyone could process it, he tossed an object right at Marc, okay? The hit was clean. It knocked, the coffee straight into Marc's, lap all over the couch. It was crazy, all right? Marc laughed it off on the surface. He joked about suing, kept his composure, but you could see it, okay? That wasn't just a laugh. That was him biting his tongue, holding back, making sure he didn't break character on camera. Now, I don't know if y'all been watching the pod and stuff or y'all just watched the clips, but Joe just got those couches fixed because Melissa was wearing jeans and had a whole blue stain on the couch and he made it a thing. Now, Emanny goes and throws something at Marc and it's coffee all over the couch and you could see the stains in the couch on the show. It was kind of crazy, you know what I'm saying? So I know that's not going to be an easy 1, 2, 3, take a stain out, you know what I'm saying? But here's the thing. Why did Emanny even get that triggered? Okay, because this wasn't random. Marc has been throwing subtle jabs at Emanny for some time now. And on the flip side, right, no pun intended, Emanny has had his eye on Marc since day one, believing Marc might be a disruption, okay, or even the downfall of the pod. All right, he said that on the Patreon episode, The Clevelander. I did a video about that, I believe, too. Okay? And let's not forget, Joe Budden himself said back in episode 773 that Flip and Emanny had smoke for Marc. Okay? Emanny and Flip got their eyes on Marc heavy. All right? And this is all starting to unfold in real time. The problem is, Emanny doesn't like Marc's smart, remarks or subtle digs. And Flip didn't help when he piled on. All right? Once upon a time, there was a time where Flip and Emanny wouldn't even go at each other like that. But lately, things have changed, okay? Emanny has been openly checking Flip, being brutally honest with him on camera, mainly because Flip hasn't stopped with those male jokes, okay? And it's a lot, all right? Now, that back and forth has shifted the dynamics on the pod, something serious. You know what I'm saying? It almost feels like Flip wanted to give Emanny his own chicken nugget moment, all right? The same kind of embarrassment that they used to try to humble Flip, all right? And it seems like they all just taking shots at each other now, all right? But here's where it gets serious. When Joe Budden returns, he's going to have a lot to say about this, all right? Throwing something at Marc, that's a different type of line being crossed right there, okay? Some people might see it as all fun and games, just male friends joking around, but others, they don't play like that. People don't play like that at all. And when you think about it, Marc isn't one of those guys that seems like, he jokes around like this, all right? He's a journalist. He's a scholar. Someone, who debates politics and global issues on serious platforms. Imagine constantly having your political takes brushed off for young thug conversations, getting hit with an object while you're speaking your mind, or being mocked for your intelligence, okay? How long can a person hold that in before it becomes a problem? Marc loves the Joe Budden platform, no doubt, all right? He says it all the time. I don't see him leaving, but let's be real. With Marc there, things are going to have to get structured differently. And Joe is not going to let another throwing object, moment like this happen, all right? I see Joe coming back, putting the rules in place, and doing all of that. Now, think about it. That coffee spilled all over Marc, okay? Most people would have snapped right there. I know if that would have happened to most people, their first reaction or first instinct would be to throw something back, all right? But Marc's smarter than that. He knows those microphones cost money, and the pod isn't the place to get reckless, all right? But just imagine if Emanny, if he would have, when he just imagine, okay, when Emanny threw that joint, if it would have gotten to the mics, it already got into the couch. Now the mics too, they probably gonna try to dock Emanny's pay or something like that. Those things cost. This was wild. And the craziest part, Emanny had that aim. It was spot on, like dead accurate. It makes me wonder, if that aggression has really been sitting in him for a while. This episode, he even knocked something out of Mel's hand. She immediately told him he needs to go back to anger management. And she might not be wrong, all right? But here's the tricky part. Emanny is going through a lot right now personally, okay? He probably had adrenaline pumping, stress on his back, and emotions spilling all over. But still, that doesn't excuse throwing something at another person on camera, all right? Not at all, right? Especially Marc Lamont Hill. He's part of the month, all right? Now, let me ask you guys some questions. If you were Marc Lamont Hill, how many more times could you laugh, stuff like this off on camera before it's crossing the line? All right. Now, was Emanny justified in throwing that object, or did he cross a line that can't be taken back? Do you think Marc really laughed it off, or was he hiding how heated he really was? And when Joe Budden returns, should he set the new rules for the pod, or should he let the guys handle it how they've been handling it, right? Joe does say, you guys can do whatever you want, just don't break the table. So I don't know, is he really gonna come back with the rules or not? And is Marc the type of personality that can survive long term on the JBP? Or will this tension eventually force him out? Okay? Do you think Flip instigated the moment, or was Emanny just waiting for a chance to let out that frustration? All right, now these are some questions I really want you guys to answer in the comments, and I appreciate you guys for tapping on this video, man. And we will be back with the files.
Who the fuck has a problem with Dub?
Do you want me
A
to list
lot.
the names?
Come on.
Dub
How
didn't do
long is it?
nothing to
Like-
nobody.